Hello and welcome to the Insecure Chef. I'm here with Regina as always. We had a very nice weekend. We celebrated my older daughter's birthday as well as mine. The whole family was here. It was great. Maybe I'll stick up a video, let you folks see it. Anyway, today we're going to be doing Salisbury Steak. And before you shake your head and say, oh, I'm not a big fan of that. Either was I. But I think the problem with Salisbury Steak is you probably haven't had a good one. And many of them come frozen in these the old-fashioned TV dinners and that kind of stuff. It's not the best in the world. If you make it from scratch and you use decent ingredients, I think you'll enjoy it. We're going to give that a shot today. So, Salisbury steak, here we go. In front of you, you can see a quick array of the ingredients involved. As always, all the ingredients will be on the channel. So, we're going to get started by mixing up the initial egg and breadcrumb, and that'll get us started. All right, so let me get started here. I'm going to be mixing the panko breadcrumbs here with the milk and half an egg. Now this is a whole egg here. I'm just going to use half. I'm going to go by eye. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to keep this around because anytime you make these kind of mixtures, you kind of sometimes have to use your eye a little bit to get a consistency that kind of works for you. So right now we're just going to mix this up. Take a look, see how it looks. And again, I said I'm going to use a half an egg, which is a relative term sometimes. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. That's about half of the egg that was in there. I am using a extra large egg, if you believe what the package says. Yeah, we're just going to let that go down. Nothing special. You just want to get it incorporated like that. Okay? So, now we're going to move over to here. I'm going to work on this onion. I've got a small onion here. I probably would have preferred a slightly bigger one, or I could have used too small. This all comes down to the flavor and the way you like it. If you like it more oniony, use a slightly bigger onion, whatever. So initially what I'm going to do right now is I'm simply going to cut this in half, like so, all right? I'm going to keep one on the side for now. We'll be using both of them. And I'm going to grate this onion, right? I'm going to use grate, so that's half of this small onion. So I'm just going to do a quick grating of this. Like so. All right, that should do it very nicely. We'll save the rest for later. There's your diced right there. Just clean off the rest of that. All right, get rid of this for the moment. Okay, I'm going to take these diced onions, and I'm going to be mixing them right in here with the beef. Now in the beef here is I got a half a pound of 85% ground beef. All right, I'm going to take that. I'm going to dump this in right now, like so. Okay, put these back because we will be using the remainder of the onion in just a little bit. All right, let me just clean up my hand a bit. So like I said, if you haven't had a decent Salisbury, that may be part of the problem. And I'm just heading back. I'm just cleaning my hands, so I'm sorry about that. So now to that, we're going to add our garlic and our salt and pepper. All right, a little garlic powder here. I'm going to go with a half a teaspoon of garlic powder here, like so. And I'm going to use a half a teaspoon of kosher salt. All right. Half a teaspoon of kosher salt. And a quarter of a teaspoon of ground pepper. All right, let's get that out there. Quarter of a teaspoon of ground pepper. And that's in there. So now what we're going to do, we're going to mix this up nicely here. I'm going to put on a pair of gloves just to make it easy for myself for cleanup. You can use your hands directly, I usually do. That's...
Oh, he sees somebody walking, another dog.
All right. All right, we're going to mix this up nicely now. And again, you just want to incorporate this. One of the deals with beef, almost the way it is with baking, is you don't want to go too crazy. If you overwork this sometimes, The beef can get dried out for you, even get a little hard when you cook it. Again, it's an art, which I am in the middle of trying to perfect. But again, all you want to do is make sure you get a decent mix. That's really all you're worried about. And as far as I'm concerned, that should be just fine. All right, let me just take these off for the moment. All right. And again, I'm just cleaning up here a little bit. Now I'm going to take that breadcrumb mixture that we did a little bit earlier. This is the breadcrumb and the egg, etc. I'm going to mix that in there now.
You want to check the pan? Just make sure it's not too hot.
Good point. All right, I'm going to get that in there like that. And we'll get this incorporated in there very nicely. Again, you could use your hands directly, gloves, forks, whatever you want, because this is obviously going to become the patty of the self, essentially the steak patty itself. So we're going to get that in here. So really, this becomes down to almost a two-part system where you make the patty and then you're going to make the sauce, in which you'll finish the patty off on. Okay. All right. Not too much mixing going on. All right. Now this is this quantity I have here is for 2 patties. All right. Obviously, for anything more or less, just increase or reduce as necessary. And again, all you want to do is basically turn them into like oblong
mini meatloaf.
Yeah, oblong mini meatloaves kind of thing, and try to get them about equal size. All right, let's see if I got close to equal size. I got a feeling this needs a little more on here. There we go. Like that. And obviously the reason you want them from equal size is not only because if you're going to serve them to people, everybody gets equal portion, but also for making sure that they'll at least cook in similar times. All right, and then we're just going to flatten these out a little bit. Like so. Okay? All right, now these are going to get refrigerated for about 10 minutes, just to help them firm up a little bit before we get them into the frying pan. So I'm just going to stick this in the refrigerator, and then we'll come back and work on the sauce. Okay. All right, now at this point, I'm going to work on the broth. All right, that's a 1.5 cups of beef stock. You can use any beef stock you might have around. If you had something left over from something else you were cooking, you can use a canned beef stock. You can use better than bouillon. You can use bouillon cubes. Whatever works for you. It'll all come out very nice. So I'm going to grind the beef broth with the cornstarch. Cornstarch, I'm going to go with a 1/2 tablespoon. Okay. Get that in there. And I'm also going to be adding the Worcestershire sauce, a teaspoon of Worcestershire. Okay, 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire. And this Worcestershire is really what gives you a very classical flavor. I can get the rest of that in there. All right, I'm just going to give that a stir. And you want to get it in there, make sure that the cornstarch dissolves in there. Now you can cheat a little bit with the beef broth. Wouldn't hurt to warm it up before you do this step, just to aid the cornstarch going in. It's not absolutely necessary, but it certainly helps matters. So you look around, make sure there's no undissolved cornstarch here, and I think we're okay with that. All right, I'm gonna move that over there. Okay, now as you remember, I had cut the onion in half, and I used half of that grated to go into the meat. At this point now, I'm going to dice up the rest of this onion here, and we're going to be using this when we make the sauce. So, I'm just going to...
Eli, it's okay, buddy.
Alrighty. Alright, so we're just going to dice this up. so. Okay. You can make them any size you like. These will be the onions that'll be part of the gravy. All right. Yeah, they look pretty good to me. Yeah. I'm just taking these little extra pieces from the grated part, just chopping them up a little bit. Again, I like them in any fashion, so this is fine for me. Cut them the way you like them. All right? So that'll take care of that. Okay, well, the 10 minutes now has passed, and the beef little patties now have been in the fridge. So I'm going to heat up the oil here. We're going to get this going on to medium high. I'm using canola oil here in this case, just a little bit. Actually, I might need a bit more. I'm going to use about, I'm going to guess about 2 teaspoons or so should be sufficient. Yeah. All right. And let me get my beef patties out. All right. Anyway, let's get that started. While that's heating up, just quickly, you know what? Let me do that. Let that heat. In the meantime, I'm just going to dice up the mushrooms that we have here. I'm going to cut those in nice slices, not diced, I'm sorry. Just going to make those into slices. Like so. Love mushrooms. And the Salisbury, I mean, that's the nature of it. Salisbury, basically, if you haven't got your brown gravy, your mushrooms, and your Worcestershire sauce, you don't have one. All right. The oil now should be heated up pretty good. I'm going to do a sear for that beef. It's not going to be completely cooked. All right. Okay, let's get the oil around there. It looks pretty warm. Now I'm going to take my my beef now and put them in here. Like so. Again, don't be afraid of getting it fairly hot because this is not the complete cooking. This is basically, you just want to sear them up. So I'm working at pretty high heat here. And that's the reason I use the canola oil. I mean, I love to cook with olive oil when I can, but this is going to be pretty high. All right, one side, I'm going to try to flip this guy over. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. All right, excellent. All right, I'm going to be shutting lowering this heat down now to medium low. I'm going to take out the first one. I'm going to put this on the side. Now again, these are not completely cooked by any means. They're just basically brown. And that's nice, that's the color I like. If you like them darker, do it darker. You like it lighter, take them out lighter. But the bottom line will be when they do go back into the sauce, that'll be where we'll make sure they're completely cooked at temperature. So now I have lowered the heat down to a little less than medium. Pan's pretty hot right now. I'm just going to let it just cool down a bit. Now we're going to follow this up with, if I need a little bit more oil, I might.
I don't know.
Well, I got to put in my onions and my mushrooms.
Right.
Yeah.
Just a drop?
Yeah, maybe just a drop of additional oil. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. I'm not putting in much, that's for sure. Yeah, give it a little drop there, maybe a half a teaspoon. All right. So we're just going to let that move around just a second. And now with all that wonderful flavor in there from the beef drippings and the onions, etc., I'm going to follow that up now with the onions and the mushrooms. They're going in right now. That looks very nice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right. And the mushrooms in there. We're going to give that a nice stir around. And that's why I lowered the heat down. You don't want to, burn up the onions or anything. All right, we'll get those coated for a minute. Now we're going to be adding to this a little tomato paste and then the beef broth mixture that we had made earlier. Just want to get this all nice and coated up, like so. Yeah, that's good. I'm going to bring the heat now to basically medium, like so. Like that. I hate my wife's phone. All right. I'm going to add to this a half a tablespoon of tomato paste. I love this tomato paste here in this tube. I used to work out of the can and I never had to use it all. I wasted so much, but this tube is very handy. So a half a tablespoon going in there, like so. All right, we'll give that a nice stir. And then the beef broth's going to go in right on top. This is the beef broth mixture we had made earlier. Wonderful. And again, I'm going to keep the temperature, I guess, around medium. And what we're going to do is we're going to give this a nice stir, make sure everything gets incorporated, and then we're going to let it simmer down and thicken up a bit. So we'll be back when that gets... All right, that's mixed up now. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put our Salisbury steaks back in, like so, like that. And we're just going to give it a little stir like that. Get a little liquid on there. But you don't have to worry about it being dried at the top because we're going to let this simmer with a cover on. The cover, of course, will condense the steam back down, and these will get hydrated very nicely. So let me put that cover back on. All right, and we're going to let that simmer for a while until it starts to thicken up. We'll be back and take a look. Okay, it's been cooking about 8 or 10 minutes or so. I take that off, get rid of that for a minute. I did a quick check with my thermometer just to make sure that the beef itself is cooked very nicely. As you can see, it's getting up there.
Yeah.
Right. I usually like to take it at around 160. Yeah, see, depending on what section you take it, because it's not uniform. They're done. I guarantee you that one's slightly smaller. So we're going to take this off. I'm going to close the heat off right now. And I'm going to take these out of here. And we'll start plating them. One goes there. I've also seen a recipe where people then actually melt cheese on top of here.
Oh.
Well, that certainly wouldn't be conventional Salisbury, but it certainly sounds delicious. All right, let me get some mushrooms and onions going here.
Some of the good stuff.
There we go. Like that. And there we go. There you looking quite nice.
Beautiful. All
right, let's go over here and take a taste. Always my favorite part here. It smells delicious.
It does, really.
All right, I'm just gonna
let it cool a little.
Yeah, I gotta let it cool. As you can see, the beef is completely cooked.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
All right, let's give this a taste now. Looks pretty hot.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yes, tender. The beef is nice and tender. It's not hard. It's got wonderful flavoring. It's got that nice onion background without being overpowering. You can't miss the Worcestershire. I was just saying that to Regina, that once you smell the Worcestershire sauce, you can almost be certain you're dealing with something like the Salisbury. It's got that reminder. I do the same thing when I do barbecue Chinese ribs, and I smell the hoisin sauce. As soon as the hoisin comes out, you know you're working with the Chinese barbecue kind of ribs. We're going to try another one here. Let's get some of those onions in there. Yeah, it's very tender. Beautiful. Yes, I think that came out very nice. So, if anything, I thought Regina would be nice to say hello. People ask to see her periodically, so say hi, babe.
Hi, fans.
Yeah. See, she's actually got height. Okay. Very camera shy.
I'm a real person.
Yeah, she's a regular person. She's actually not there. And of course,
Oh, Eli.
Eli
Hey,
dog.
Daddy.
Say hi to the guys.
Yeah. What a good boy.
All right, I'll turn this back over to Regina.
Okay.
And there's our Salisbury steak. So, from the Insecure Chef and his wonderful wife, Regina,
Have a great night.
thank you again for watching. Things are going very nicely here. God bless to everyone out there, and I hope that all the family's well. Spring is about 4 weeks away. Let's wait for it. Take care.